BionicDance is filmed in front of a live studio audience.
There really isn't much of a difference between a gay person and a normal person. The only real difference is the gay person is going to hell.
Oh, trust me, kiddo. We're already there. Let's do this.
BionicDance!
Greetings, fellow space travelers. BionicDance here. I don't really know who this little pissant is, but apparently he has about 30 times my subscriber base and he's spouting homophobia. So I guess we have to deal with him. 'Cause, you know, lesbians are awesome and gay boys aren't so bad themselves, and bigoted little wank stains like this kid have too large an audience. The counterpoint must be shown. The opposing voices need to be raised, or he wins.
There isn't really much of a difference between gay people and white people. The only real difference is gay people will get super offended with my opening joke and try to ruin my entire career because of it.
And the reason why that might be the case, assuming it is, I mostly just rolled my eyes because it was lame. Well, those reasons just don't matter, apparently. All that really matters is that Dude Boy here thinks that jokes are immune to repercussion because they're jokes. And that's, you know, bullcrap.
I'm talking about this recent trend where the gay community attacks anyone who dares to make a joke about gay people. Quite honestly, I'm sick of it, and I have to talk about it. Now, just to clarify, this video is not an attack towards gays as a whole. In fact, I'd guess that this video will actually be speaking for a lot of gay people. I do not hate gay people, but I absolutely despise their sensitivity.
Yeah, that's kind of like saying, I don't hate Jews, but why so sensitive about the Holocaust? Jeez, lighten up. And before you start saying that this comparison is extreme, remember, the Nazis sent gays to the showers as well. And that's the point here. These jokes are not just good-natured ribbing, they're not just all in good fun. You want to know a good gay joke? What does a lesbian bring on the second date? A U-Haul! See, that's acceptable because it's not actually homophobic. It doesn't say that lesbianism itself is somehow unacceptable, that lesbianism is bad. It's about a quirky stereotype. Compare that with a rather unfortunate scene in one of my otherwise favorite movies, Adventures in Babysitting.
You wasted all my Clearasil on another picture of Thor.
Thor's my hero.
Thor's a homo.
Is not.
Yeah, he is.
Is not.
Thor's a complete homo.
Take it back, Brad!
No,
Take back what you said about Thor! Take it back, Brad! Take back what you said about Thor!
That makes it pretty clear that somehow being gay is a bad thing. It's hateful. And that's the difference.
This issue really came to light last month, when Kevin Hart was booted from hosting the Oscars after a bunch of gay archaeologists decided to dig up some 10-year-old tweets Hart had made joking about gay people. That's right, everyone. The gay community was so angry over a comedian making jokes, it cost Kevin Hart the opportunity of a lifetime.
Jokes, really? Let's examine that for a moment.
One of my biggest fears is my son growing up and being gay. Every kid has a gay moment, okay? Every kid. But when it happens, you gotta nip it in the bud. You gotta stop it right there. Hey, stop! That's gay!
Does that sound like a joke to you? Imagine he stood up and said exactly that in those words and that tone of voice when it wasn't a comedy show. Would it be acceptable then? I don't think so. That wasn't a joke. That was his exact opinion. And those tweets. This video is already in danger of demonetization, so I'm not going to read them out loud. Boy, would the algorithm catch that. But check him out here. Does any of that sound like a joke to you? Or does it sound like hatred? You can't just put a gloss of joke paint on this and make it okay. It doesn't work like that.
So this comedian made jokes, and made jokes! This didn't stop the LGBT hate mob from viciously attacking Hart until he had no choice but to step down from the hosting gig.
Hate mob. Yeah, right. Show me the hate. Go on, show me how a reaction to hatred is, itself, inherently hatred. I dare you.
You remember the good old days when gay people just wanted tolerance? They just wanted a basic level of acceptance? Well, now you have to submit to their every wish.
One of my biggest fears is my son growing up and being gay. Hey, stop! That's gay!
Tolerance. That sound like tolerance or acceptance to you, does it?
Also, what hurtful things is this guy even talking about? Are you talking about jokes? Are jokes a comedian makes now hurtful and not only require an apology, but a thorough ass-kissing to gay people as well?
Yes. Next question.
It didn't stop there, however. The spiral of absolute stupidity continued following this month. Kevin Hart made an appearance on Ellen, where she said, "I believe in forgiveness, I believe in second chances, and I believe in Kevin Hart." And what do you think happened next? The gay community attacked Ellen, the openly lesbian talk show host who shilled for Hillary and nearly every liberal cause is now dead to the gay community because you dared to have 1 ounce of wrongthink.
Shilled for Hillary, you say? Funny thing. Hillary opposed gay marriage. She flat out said that marriage should be between a man and a woman. It wasn't until it became politically inconvenient to run for office as a homophobe that her position changed. And now Ellen is standing on the side of a man whose political path has been awfully similar. We're not just looking at 1 ounce of wrongthink here, kiddo. I'm not gonna stand with another lesbian just because she's a lesbian. Some lesbians are chowderheads. Wanna hear stories about my exes? Probably not, they're pretty juicy.
I also believe in forgiveness, but I also believe that forgiveness requires an actual apology. Not, "I'm sorry people are so sensitive," just, "I am sorry." All he had to do, and he indignantly refused because he felt his moment was being tainted, that he was aggrieved. Newsflash, you entitled dolt. Just because you have your mankini in a wad doesn't mean anyone owes you an apology.
Okay, Scooter, when does someone owe someone else an apology? Please, lay out the criteria. What lines must be crossed? What transgressions must be offered before an apology can be legitimately demanded? I'd really like to know.
I guess comedians should just give up their careers making jokes about everything and everyone and instead dedicate their life to being an ally.
Funny thing, there are a lot of comedians who've managed to have quite successful careers without spewing hatred toward minorities.
I guess Ellen should quit being a famous talk show host and instead be an ally.
Coming soon to theaters, Funny Thing Part 8, The Revenge. It would be in Ellen's best interest to be an ally, and being a famous talk show host is a great platform for being an ally. You just have to actually be one.
Logan Paul joking about being gay for 1 month, while countless LGBT+ around the world are killed and committing suicide for their sexuality, is disgusting. He continues to be an awful representation of the YouTube community and shows he has learned nothing over the last year. Oh, thank you so much for the lecture, you good little boy. Jokes about a group of people should never be made if that group of people also commits suicide, right?
Probably not, actually. Homophobic jokes certainly play a role in the hatred that leads to suicide, after all. And did you just gloss over the part about being killed? Not suicide. Murder by homophobes, who probably think those jokes are hilarious.
Where are you to criticize the constant jokes being made about white men? Last I checked, the rate of suicide is highest in middle-aged white men.
There, goalposts successfully moved. How many white men are committing suicide because of hatred against white men? Because the reason why matters.
I've seen multiple people take this stupid and manipulative route to somehow paint gay jokes as these horrible, awful things. The Guardian even linked a list of people killed by their parents because of their sexuality in the article criticizing Kevin Hart. Well, with that logic, maybe Amy Schumer should stop making jokes about getting drunk and then fingered. You know, a lot of women are raped when they're drunk. Here's a list of a bunch of women that were just raped. How dare Amy Schumer?
Yeah, actually. Her joke normalizes sexual assault, makes it seem like not a big deal. Newsflash, it's a big deal. And I'm not sure how you got the idea that this isn't so, but jokes are not immune from criticism or condemnation just by being jokes. And I'm willing to bet that there are parts of your life that are off limits. Are you really trying to tell us that there is nothing about you that, when ridiculed, wouldn't get a "not cool, man, not funny"? You don't even look old enough to drink, but let's suppose you were the one who got schnockered and woke up to somebody sodomizing you with the business end of an egg beater. Then someone else makes a joke about it, makes fun of you personally over it. You're really gonna tell us that you'll take it all in good fun, no harm, no foul? I don't think so.
To somehow link terrible things happening in the real world to comedic performances is not only illogical, because you could apply this logic to virtually any joke, but it takes the fun out of everything. Yes, terrible things happen, and it's terrible, but if you applied this logic to everything, you could never laugh again.
Again, no. You can make jokes about a lot of things and never lower yourself to hating on minorities, kiddo. Your reductio ad absurdum fails. Try again.
How can anyone compare a time where we had the freedom to make jokes about whatever we want to the present, where certain jokes are not acceptable and claim we've progressed as a society? Because if you ask me, a rabid hate mob of rainbow-wearing losers attacking anyone who dares to make a joke looks a lot more like regression to me.
I'm trying to find the hate on the LGBT side here, Skippy, because all I see is self-defense against other people's hatred. And treating other people with dignity and respect instead of hatred is progress. The problem is that you don't seem to see the hatred inherent in these jokes that you think are so harmless. No, I take that back. You see it. You just don't think that anybody should care, that queer folk should just take it on the chin, and who cares if it fosters more hatred? And then you claim to not hate gay people. Or maybe I'm giving your intelligence too much credit.
Comedians are allowed to make jokes, and they should continue to make jokes about everything and everyone.
And anyone and everyone should be free to tell them to jam it.
In fact, I'd go as far as to say comedians should especially make jokes about gay people. Because the minute you start protecting gay people from jokes is the minute you stop treating gay people as equals.
Well, let's see what happens if we change the butt of the joke.
Every kid has a
Black.
moment, okay? Every kid. But when it happens, you gotta nip it in the bud. You gotta stop it right there. Hey, stop! That's
Black. Do you think that's okay? Would you be this adamant that it's no big deal? I doubt it. But if you would be, kid, you're a damn bigot. Who else would like to see this little pinprick reacting to Martin Luther King back in the 60s? 'Cause I bet it'd be the same dance, different tune.
Gay people claim they just want to be treated as equals, and I agree with this notion. I don't hate gay people, I support gay people's rights to be married, and I support the gay community's desire to be treated as equals. But when you start censoring jokes and treating gay people like these whiny little wimps who can't handle a couple jokes being made at their expense, you dehumanize gay people.
Newsflash, genius. I'm a lesbian, and I don't feel the least bit dehumanized by insisting that jokes made at my expense be neither bigoted or hateful. Remember the joke before, the one about the U-Haul? Like I said, that manages to be funny, and at my expense, without trying to say that lesbianism is abhorrent. Unlike Kevin Hart, who lives in fear of his son being gay. Do you really not see the difference, or do you just not care?
Gay community, when you form these angry hate mobs, all you do is create more homophobes.
And letting homophobes make homophobic jokes that foster more homophobia doesn't accomplish that. Really? So tell us, Professor, what's your magic formula for promoting tolerance and equality? If it's not fighting bigotry, then what is it? And again, do these rules apply to any hated minority or just queer folk?
So here's my final word of advice. If the best example you can find of gay oppression is a comedian doing a stand-up act, 10-year-old tweets, and a YouTuber cracking a joke, you are the farthest thing from oppressed imaginable.
I'm sure you'll be glad to hear that we can come up with many other examples too. Funny story, we LGBT folk have the amazing ability to multitask. So don't go pretending that because Kevin Hart is in the metaphorical crosshairs, that means we've only got one bullet.
Understand that we can live in a world that accepts gay people while also making jokes about gay people. In fact, if a comic makes a joke about a gay person along with jokes about other people, That's the equality you've all wanted for years.
No, it's really not. Make a joke about white people dancing worse than black people, then a joke about gays going to hell. Oh wait, you did. And see the reaction. Now make a joke about gay men being promiscuous, then a joke about black people being unintelligent junkies, and see the reaction. Wanna predict which joke will get you protested and by which group? Now tell me that being joked about is equality and tolerance. I think we all know who the real joke is here.
Stop demanding special treatment and stop getting triggered over jokes. After all, it's a joke, not a dick. Don't take it so hard.
Look, kid, I'm not particularly attracted to horses, but I'm gonna make an exception for the one you rode in on. Right, before I go, another thank you, this time to Michael P. Fletcher for Season 5 of Night Court. Any one of you who knows me at all knows that I'm a big honkin' 80s kid, and Night Court, definitely one of my favorite sitcoms. So hey, thanks tons, dude, I love it. Awesome. Until next time, fellow space travelers, this is BionicDance saying don't run on automatic. Instead, please think. What lines must be crossed? What transgressions must be offered before an apology? This rule applies to hatred, prejudice, sexual assault, murder, hatred, prejudice, sexual assault, murder, why can't I do this? Who else would like to see this little pinprick reacting to Martin Luther King?
Attention citizens. Failure to contribute will result in suspended oxygen privileges. Attention citizens. Failure to contribute will result in suspended oxygen privileges. Attention citizens.
You've got two choices. You can rate this video and share it everywhere across social media, or I can send my minions after you. Choose wisely.